Welcome everyone. So for today, we need to better prepare ourselves for our Roman Emperor project, which is coming up. So as we discussed yesterday, your Roman Emperor project is going to be a 5-paragraph essay. You're going to have your introduction, you're going to have your 3 body paragraphs, and you're going to have your conclusion. So when we do that, we are going to be talking about different vocabulary words that you can use to put in your different warrants. Yeah. So in your 3 warrants that are in your introduction, you're going to use 3 vocabulary words, and I don't want them to be words like mean or greedy, right? I want us to step our game up as far as it comes to vocabulary words. So we're going to do an activity later about that. So instead of saying evil, I want you to say nefarious, and you guys can look that up in a minute. So we will do our Roman Emperor's project review. We'll go over the structure of that essay again, and I'll show you how I want you to use the vocabulary words for that. I'm also going to ask you to do a discussion board on Schoology in a second, where the question is on there. Yeah, you can look at the question when you pull up the discussion field. And I not only want you to talk a little bit about your emperor, but I want you to go through and, using our Quizlet vocabulary that we already have set up, I want you to suggest words to your friends on the discussion board what you think they could use. And don't just drop a word in there. Make sure you cut and paste the word from Quizlet and the definition. You can even give them a link to the exact Quizlet part, so for pronunciation, especially for some of you where English is your second language. You will have a presentation of this later, so I want you to make sure that you understand the pronunciation of it as well. So we can review that Quizlet, and if you do find a word that you're going to use for your person that is not on Quizlet, I want you to add it, because some of you are doing the same emperor. I'm not encouraging you to necessarily use the same vocabulary, but some of you are doing the same emperor, and others of you might have emperors that have similar traits. So we're going to be doing a mind map on the board of some of the discussion or some of the vocabulary that we have in the discussion field that you guys look up and that we have on Quizlet. So the board is going to be divided into 4 quadrants, and we will have, you know, sort of the evil side, the good side, the let's see, what's the word for this? Omnipotent side, which means basically all caring, and then we will have a side for ones that we haven't determined yet. Okay, so class discussion mind map. Your homework tonight is going to be pretty interesting. We've spent a lot of time in our formal writing, and you guys have really improved a lot in how you construct your arguments, but I thought we'd have a little bit of fun tonight. We just studied the assassination of Julius Caesar, so for your homework tonight, I'm going to ask you to do a video. And not only am I going to ask you to do a video, I want to ask you guys to speak in your own colloquialism. Now, we've used the word colloquialism before. It's in one of our older Quizlets. But if you remember, colloquialism is just the way you guys speak today. So you're going to do a 1-minute to 90-second video where you are retelling the story of Julius Caesar as if you were there. So imagine that you are writing a letter. I know you don't write letters anymore, but imagine that you are talking to your friend on the phone and no adults are listening. How would you talk to your friend? And I want you to explain the assassination of Julius Caesar as if you were there. Meaning you can use your own language, right? Hey bro, you never believe what just happened the other day, okay? So this is my one homework assignment where I'm asking you to speak informally in your colloquialism instead of having formal writing. So on your papers, when I always say too informal, on this I'm saying be as informal as you want, but please try to be real. You know, I don't want any surfer D language, right? Because I know none of you talk like that. But just talk like you really talk. And there are leaders that got there that you say, that person, how did that person get there? That person shouldn't be there. I don't think that person is a good leader. So what are some things that make them not a good leader? What are some things that make you lose trust in them? Okay, so everyone should have 3 positives, 3 negatives. And then I want you to finish that sentence, fill in the blanks. Okay? These are definitely words that you guys can incorporate into your Emperor's project. But I want to spend some time today just talking in general about the idea of authority. And in a minute, I'm going to ask you, well, first I'm going to ask you to talk to your neighbor and see what they thought. But then I'm going to have you come up here and put up your words. And also keep in mind that some words are relative.
Yeah. Do we need to define like why we chose these 3 words with 3 adjectives?
No.
Okay, just.
But I want you in the fill in the blank portion. Finish the sentence. The most important aspect of exercising authority is to be this. This is necessary because a good leader must what? So in our Think, Pair, Share, we have spent some time in our discussion talking. Now I want you to turn to your left or to your right, and I want you to share. Actually, you're pairing now. We'll share as a class in a minute up on the board. But right now I want you to pair with someone next to you, and I want you to tell them what you said as far as the 3 positives and the 3 negatives. And if someone shares something with you that you disagree with, I want you to respectfully challenge them and say, no, actually I think that's a good thing for a leader to do. Or you might want to say, no, that's not a good thing, right? That's not something that I want a leader to have, okay? So spend this time discussing those adjectives about leadership. Go ahead.
I say being realistic. It was.
So did everyone get a chance to?
No, I say being realistic.
Did everyone get a chance to talk to their partner about their adjectives?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I want to do.
You have to get hope.
I want us to build.
What if you fail? Then your team's gonna be more disposable. But if you be realistic, they're realistic.
Okay, so I want us to build a vocabulary list of leadership. Okay? So these are things that you guys are going to be able to use in your paper. So let's talk about the notion of authority and leadership in relation to these adjectives. And I want us to parse through these adjectives and see what people think about it. Okay? So I want you to volunteer to come up, and I want everyone right now, there's pens all over the room, I want everyone right now to put up 1 good, 1 bad, and then if you can, I want you to put up a word that's relative. The good, the bad, and the relative. Okay? So we have paper, or we have pens right here. I want everyone to write 1 thing that they think is definitely a good thing, 1 thing that they definitely think is a bad thing, and something that they feel is relative. And before you get up, let's make sure you understand what I mean by relative. Someone want to put the words in my mouth so I can stop talking? What do I mean by relative? What do I mean?
It's an aspect that could be good in certain circumstances, but it can also be bad.
It could be good in some certain circumstances, but it could also be bad. Okay? So there are different things that I want in my president and my pastor. There are different things that I want in my teacher and my policeman. Okay? So those are what we're going to put relative. Pens, go.